we are so fond of him because we get all the sweets, and he's the one who spoiled us in terms of giving all kind of things that our parents say, you should not have bought that because now you are losing all your teeth. So, but I'm so happy to be talking to you today. So two subjects that I like to speak today, they are, one is the artificial intelligence. I'm sure the other one is the cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, of course, we are getting a lot of attention nowadays because of the lot of incidents happening in the world. So I'll start with the artificial intelligence. So here I have some slides. I'm going to send them over to you. I have a sign-in sheet here to get your email address. And then also I'm doing a project with Bhavana dealer to use the artificial intelligence to help mentally challenging individuals, or or to treat the mental health patients. So we can talk about that soon. So I have some definitions here for artificial intelligence. The first one is right here. It says AI is the science of teaching machines to learn human-like capabilities. So let's talk about what are those machines and the human-like. So human-like is us, right? So we have laymen who are doctors, lawyers, engineers, scientists, drivers, conductors, all that. So, and the machines here are the ones, computer servers and data centers, etc. So we are trying to use the new technology, artificial intelligence, to train the machines so that we can use the machines to perform certain tasks that are done by human-like, right? So that's what's happening today. So to train the machines, the computers, we need to gather the right data from human-like. So that means we have to provide the correct information to these computers. So take examples, the doctors. So nowadays they use the partially artificial based surgical system to do certain surgeries, right? And then to do the surgeries, like take eye surgery. So what they are doing is like they are using experience that they have built, and then they train the computers with that knowledge so that they are prone to do less accidents or less errors during their future surgeries. And then as the time goes, those experiences are used to develop surgical equipment so that those surgical equipment helps the doctors to do the surgeries better. Okay, that's one of the examples. And take the other example is using diagnostic the computers to diagnose the patient's issues. So you go to a doctor and tell you have the following issues, and then the doctor will say, in general practice, they will say you have this issue, and so what we are trying to do is we are trying to gather as much as possible information so that we can narrow down the exact issue. It could be the doctor might have made some mistake by taking the incorrect input and then giving the incorrect diagnostic. So by educating the computers with more data, accurate data, that in the future doctors can do better diagnostic. Are you getting the message? Is it clear? So it's basically we are training, we call it training the machines. The machines are the computers, and the human-like who are the, I gave some example, doctors, lawyers, etc., by their profession. And then we provide correct data to the machines to build their database. So in the AI technology, we have a so-called LM, language modules, or LLM, that's a large language module. So basically, those are the data that we are gathering from different sources to build the database so that we can train the machines, the computers, to do certain tasks. Certain tasks are even going to space, the surgical aspect of it, by even in the future teaching aspect of it, and then in the monastics life. So nowadays, if you go online, you will see there are so many applications that you can find in internet, that they are trying to teach yoga, bhavana, and mindfulness, clear comprehension, etc. So, and then what they are doing is, most of them are inexperienced individual, and they are not teaching the correct content. Reason being, they have a wrong conception, as well as they are not actually using proper method to build their own intelligence. So to train computers, the machines, you really need to build the correct database with the correct practice. So that's not the easy task. That is why everyone is struggling with the AI today. But as I go through the rest of the presentation, you'll get a better or a clear picture of it, hopefully. And the second one is, then we have a derivative of AI, which is called generalized AI. It's called also known as AGI. I'm saying here, when AI can perform all human cognitive skills better than today, then we are in a stage of AGI. So that means here we see that we are training the machines with human-like capabilities, with the humans are providing the data to the machines. As we progress with the better data, and we are getting into a better stage of helping the cognitive issues. Third stage is the ACI, which is called the capability of the artificial intelligence. That is not there yet. That is when we achieve the wide range of complex tasks. So all these things is somewhat looks like pretty complicated, but actually the technology is advancing now. We are moving from AI to AGI, and I hope that in several years' time we will be in a phase the artificial intelligence can do a lot of complex tasks. So to do to train the machines with the human-like capabilities, the scientists are developing certain hardware. I'm just giving a quick example here. The GPU is a graphics processing unit. You may have heard it, and the CPU central processing unit. And these are the ones nowadays, that has a high price tag. And the certain companies like NVIDIA, they are, this NVIDIA started like 15 years ago in a restaurant. Actually, three individuals, they got together, and back of a napkin, they came up with this idea to say that let's try to develop a kind of a technology so we can take human-like input and develop the machines. Okay, that's the whole task here. And then the end results of AI today is in the first stage. The AI stage is actually we have the capability to accurately generate text messages, images, music, audio, video, etc., and even the computer coding. So when we go to AGI stage, we should be able to do better, and then with the ACI, it will definitely be improved. Okay. And so any question? Yeah, I just want to make sure that you get the basic point. Okay. So we are, Bhakti Sadhaniva and I are kind of putting a framework together to use spiritual guidance so that we can treat some of the patients or the you know mentally challenging individual. So those are the ones with the kind of a depression, generalized anxiety disorders, panic disorders, and then compulsive disorders and post-traumatic stress disorders. So the plan here, my plan here is actually to use different sutras, discourses, and then whatever available in Buddhism, then we identify what is the best uh, treatment for these patients, right? So I'm going to actually out as I progress through, I'll explain more detail as to actually the kind of system level of this, so that if you desire to join the project, please put your email address, and so that I can reach out to you with more information. So just to recap again, artificial intelligence is a broad term. It's covered multiple technologies, multitude of technologies, including medical, and mechanical material, etc. And then also it's artificial intelligence in that domain. And then this is the kind of I would say low-level database, and the next level is to build a large language model. Okay? So today, actually, artificial intelligence is used in multiple commercial applications, like a Siri and Amazon Alexa. They use artificial intelligence basically to get the output back for a question that we ask. You might ask, Siri or Alexa, that tell me how to make this particular food. You will get the answer right away. For them to give you the answer, basically, they go to a database and find out, well, what kind of ingredients you need to provide. And then also what quantities you need to provide, and what color that you will get at the end of it. So these data currently, they are all vocal, through voice, but in the future, what you will see is, you will see them in your history. And then also artificial intelligence, AI, has been used today to beat one of the, I would say, champion in chess by using the IBM actually challenged the Gary Castro using their Deep Blue computer system in 1977. And then they were able to prove that the computer system was able to beat this champion. Actually, the reason for beating him is by building the correct model, or the language model, for the IBM computer in the IBM computer platform with the correct language model. That language model is basically the input that provided by all the other chess players. So the IBM reached out to a lot of chess players and got the information to say, if you make this move, what will be the next move? So based on that, IBM was able to beat this Gary Castro in this case. Then the other one is, what about the chatbot AI system? The So what we are trying to do here also is to see whether we can develop a chatbot to be able to treat these mentally challenging individuals using spiritual kind of using either Dhamma or discourses, etc. Okay, so the next one is how can these new AI answers almost any type of question? So this is again, the powerful computer system for generative AI or large language model. That is the kind of input to a artificial intelligence platform, and then we train the computers by providing billions of input, the correct word. So that the term in the artificial intelligence is called training the platform. So that you may have heard the word train that has been teaching the computers with the model data. And then also in artificial intelligence, you will see there are certain terminologies that we use for neural networks that more or less mimicking the neurons in the human brain. So there are certain projects going on with uh, basically to see whether people with vision disabilities, whether AI can be used to treat them by stimulating the neurons in the human brain. So that's another project going on. So the other area in the list of questions that I put together is I really don't understand artificial intelligence and where it's heading. Please explain what it is. Oh, sorry. Okay. So this is the case study that we are doing now. This is basically to see whether we can use artificial intelligence for the sicknesses I kind of discussed before. And this is one is the anxiety disorder, other one is the depression, and these are some descriptions for you. I'll provide the slides. And so based on the symptoms of these, what kind of spiritual input that we can use to treat them. So okay, so the way that we are trying to do this one is I'll walk through this one. So what we are trying to do here is there is a patient who asks to get the data, and then we'll be asking some questions from this patient. The best way we are thinking is that instead of asking a question by ourselves, let him or her do a self-assessment. So there will be a list of questions for him to read, for her to read, and then we'll try to get the input, their input to see what kind of issue the individual got. And we cannot say, well, we think that you have the following issues, therefore the treatment is this. So we will do a self-assessment using the both facial expression as well as the vocal expressions, and then that we feed the information into a AI platform called a random input vector. That is a platform in the AI hierarchy, and that information goes to another platform called generator model. The generator model basically what it does is it has the input that we provided for each syndrome here. Okay, so then this individual will provide the video and audio input, and then this one does the correlation. Okay, so based on the correlation, the comparison, the computer will spit out to say, well, it seems like the individual has the exact issue is it could be the depression, and it will go into another platform. So basically, that platform has the spiritual data given by or provided by a treatment plan. The treatment plan is like a sutras, discourses, the same almost, and the Dhamma discussion. Here we have a large kind of a database actually with Bhajaji's sermons or the Dhamma discussion. So based on the individual's issue that we think, so what could be the best treatment that the individual should have? So that individual might have, say, the depression, and is it what sutras? So that is where I actually I'm looking into you to see whether what sutra is the ideal one for this issue. So this is like a conceptual project at the moment, and so I did quite a bit reading because this is again the technology itself is pretty new and it's challenging. So from the monastic community, if you can say, well, based on, I'll give you more input on what are these, based on this syndrome, what could be the spiritual treatment that we can provide? Yeah, so that's what we are looking for. It could be, I mean, this is unproven yet. If you go to internet, you will find there are a lot of tools. People are kind of, advertising and trying to make money out of different chatbots. But I think here, at least you all are well-experienced monastics, and it's a matter of taking the background and the symptoms of the disorders and to say, well, based on these disorders, I think this is the best the treatment plan that we can come up with. Okay. So getting into more detail on the platform, so the platform will have the different level of data integration. The data basically data coming from the patient who is under investigation, and then also the reference model based on the sickness. And then when we do the correlation or the filtering, then this individual might have the correlation. So that's more or less the platform here. And so let's see whether we can get to some point by using the spiritual treatment plan. So that's one example of AI. So another example, I just want to make sure I'll take more use cases and examples so you get a better understanding of AI. Because at the beginning I gave you a lot of technical terms and it's hard to digest. I sympathize with that. So here, here I'm saying that how AI can protect vital pipeline and cable deep in the ocean. So there was an incident in the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which carries gas and oil from Russia through the Baltic to Europe. Right? That was some time back. So it was hard to identify what the exact was. Of course, they suspected some countries. So now some scientists, some universities, what they are doing is they are trying to map the seabed. Okay, so why they are trying to what they are trying to do by scanning the seabed to see well there should be the following item floating around at this particular time. So this is you see that in Europe, so in Germany and around Norway and North Sea area, there are a lot of windmills, and those windmills are in the middle of the ocean, and then also the pipelines. And so these are the autonomous underwater vehicles that are being developed, taking the pictures of the seabed, and then these vehicles identify what are the normal behavior of the seabed at that particular time, and if they were to see some abnormality, mean there's a object moving toward these areas, then that will be automatically alert to the law enforcement. So for them to identify that that object which should not be there, that is where the AI come into the picture. That well, we need to take so many videos and then data collection to make sure that this is not a school of dolphins or fish that floating around. So that is where the challenge is. So the whole task here, the AI part that it plays is basically developing their database with the images. So it's I mean, a lot of information, there's some dissertation, some research work. I did say verbally, so there should be, yeah. So today they are using their sonar and satellite to scan the seabed, and then using the sonar and satellite, which is pretty expensive and unreliable. It is better what some of the universities and research institutes are doing in certain part of the world for this kind of situation is to build a database based on the accurate images. Any more question? I'm sure that it's somewhat confusing because of the technology which is still to explore, but I'm quite willing to answer any question that you may have. Okay, here's another one. The AI being used in the US actually in farming. So they are using AI to pollinate trees and then to harvest fruits. So you might be wondering why they are using the AI technology, building the AI technology for pollinating and picking the fruits out of these trees. The one reason is that it's going to be pretty hard to find the resources, okay, especially in the US for farmers. So they are looking to mechanize that or the automate. So the way they are trying to do is by again building the database to say that well, if I can fruit either apple or anything, that it will take the photos, pictures, and then say that this is the right time that is to pick the fruit. So the robot will kind of walk on, traverse on a rail and then it will start taking the pictures, momentarily pictures, and then when the system realizes, we found this section of the farm, they have it's time to harvest them. So they are using the robot to more or less pick the fruits out of the trees and then sort them out again to the right level of the maturity of the fruit, and then check for any damages, etc. So the pollination and the picking fruits. The pollination, of course, let me tell you, this one here, that again, it will take the robot will take the images of the trees and then see where they have not been pollinized, and then the robot has the bucket of pollen for the trees for that particular fruit, and it will inject to a certain branch of the tree where it needs to be treated. So it could be a pretty kind of simple task. People might be wondering what is the AI to do here, but what AI is doing here is basically taking the images, building a database so that this can be used for ever almost. Because probably, during this season, they might take some pictures and then build a database to say, well, this is the right maturity of the particular fruit, and then that can be used for the next season. Likewise, so you can see here, the pictures of the tree, speaking of the fruits. And likewise, the Washington State University, they have a research program going on. Again, to train the robot based on the AI platform to prune the branches of the apple trees, so that next time when they have to do this job, it will be less human involvement. The robot will, traverse through a training system or the path that is created, and it will do its job. Okay, so I think this is my kind of getting the last area of the AI. Companies like JP Morgan or the banks, several banks that they have, it's surprising that how many software programmers they have. JP Morgan has like almost 14,000. So, and these, the most of their work is based on old programming languages like COBOL and Perl, etc. So, with the help of artificial intelligence, they are upgrading their coding to latest languages like Python. So you might be wondering what is AI going to do with that? So the reason is by using AI platform and the language model that they build, it helps to increase the efficiency of the code. It makes the less prone to errors and then cyber attack for the banking world. Because the capability of the Python programming language. Then also here the AI is used by many vehicle manufacturers, like a company like Porsche, Volvo, Rivian, etc. They have used these to make sure that they are, they get one of the best ride, even at the back the road, and if they were to sell a sporty vehicle, it has the correct feeling. How do they do that? They have gathered a lot of data from the different sources like highway maintenance, organizations, and then satellite images on the roads. And based on that, they have taken that and developed the vehicles suspension system so that they can get the best ride. Okay. Those are the applications. I'm trying to get you the feel of what is AI here. And please stop me and ask. And then I'm sure you are familiar with using ChatGPT, Cloud, DeepSeek. These are the kind of key AI tools that are freely available. Some of the advanced versions, like Cloud, you can pay $20. So I do use all of them, and here some of my assessment as well as assessment I got from different sources. So if you were to take ChatGPT, it's a deep thinker, and then if you take Claude, also they have different capabilities. I put these for in case if you are going to use in the future. This is kind of a common assessment of each. This is not a selfish from me. And DeepSeek is a Chinese-owned company, so there are some concern of that. I didn't have any issues. And then ChatGPT is a very common one. It's a detail master. It's basically if you want to draft a project plan for if you are building you are doing some construction in your monastery, and you want to know from how to get from the groundbreaking right through to the getting your occupancy perfect. So you put all the detail as to what's the square footage and where you live, what's zip code, and then what's your anticipated your budget, all that, and then it will actually nicely draft you out project plan to say that, well, for the foundation footing, etc., it will cost this much, and then for the framing, it will cost this much, and the roofing based on your choice, it will cost this much, and then the completion is this much. So these tools, the ChatGPT is freely available. You don't have to pay anything unless you want to do for programming. Then of course it's $20 a month. So it's pretty handy to have. A lot of people use them. And then the other one is the project manager capability. It has great project features, and then also a spreadsheet. This is much better than the spreadsheet that you get, XLS, the Microsoft package. Any questions? So here in the, I kind of outlined some of the, I don't know, can you see at the back? Because the audience is pretty quiet, so I'm kind of concerned. Either you got everything or you're not following. I don't want to waste your time. So here, offline you can take the material and read that. The VSAI can be used for guided meditation apps. There are a lot of guided meditation apps. You can, download and see what they are really, do they make any sense? And let me take this way. I think the people are this generation, they come to temple, right? And what will happen to the next generation? Because most of us came back from our place of birth. But what will happen in the future? I can give you a lot. I've been talking to Dr. Sajadina too. See our own children, we put them in a Sunday school, we took them to temples and all that. But once they get busy, they have no time to come to temple, right? Here and there, they will donate something. And then I have a lot of friends in Vietnamese, you know, it's a temple if they find time, but they are completely isolated. So what's going to happen to the Buddhism in the future with the advancement of the technology, especially with the AI? I think it's time to take a good look as to see, well, can we develop within our community, can we develop a chatbot? Okay, and you can. That's the whole purpose I was trying to get. But for you to do a chatbot, you need to understand the fundamentals. That's why I went through the AC, what is the AI, AC, AGI. Because what we learned today about AI is not going to be there. Next will be AGI. So you need to know what the hell is that, right? So back to the basic question of how can we sustain the Buddhism as we move forward? When we do try to more or less disconnect our lives from the comfort, and then you get to the monastic life, right? So, but how far can you sustain your monastic life without support from the communities? Because they're not going to come, I'm sure, as you progress through for several years. I'll take a good example of Vietnam. My wife and I, we have no connection in Vietnam, but we took a trip for 3 weeks. We spent an arm and a leg to go and see what do they have besides all the unfortunate things happened in the Vietnam War. They are one of the best temples, and temples are all kind of, some of them are like museums. There nobody comes except the tourists, right? From Vietnam, sir? Yeah.
I'm from Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
And we also face a similar problem because we talk this later, but what we find out very important. Yes.
Yeah.
The next generation, they don't speak patient. We become who we young.
Right.
We have to think about how we the best solution.
Right. Yeah. So I know the AI is a boring subject unless you really in there, I understand that. But I think my take, though I'm not supposed to advise any monastic, but my take for monastics is that try to build kind of a community with the AI in your mind to say, you do have some individual coming to your, the programs from this generation, and you can kind of start a program to say, well, what can we do to spread the mindfulness, clear completion, and some of the Buddhism part of it, the good part of it, right? And how can we sustain our place in the future for next 100 years to come? I think that is where you need to look. Because with the busy life that they have, I think the temple will be completely, as we progress through, they'll be like those churches that we have today. You just go and open to, get a spider web out. I don't think we need that because you came from other part of the world, and spending all your time. I think it's time to look into the technology side as well. Yeah, so offline, you're welcome to read my presentation material. This is again giving definition of artificial intelligence, the introduction, because you really have to get into this terminology. That's not a lot. As the time passes, AI is going to phase out, it's going to come with the AGI, it's going to phase out, it will come in the ACI. Okay? It's an evolution of the technology. So we better be with them. And then again, then we have, I put some here for the monastic life with the meditation, yoga, and mindfulness practices. What can be done? How can we do the teaching, the meditation, yoga instruction, etc. And then, the one thing I noticed in Mahayana Buddhism is that they do have the multiples. It's not just the meditation and clear meditation. They bring the yoga and the other part of it. So that is where you can build up the congregate. Yeah, these are the benefits. I'm not going to go all of them. You can, you're welcome to read. That's the last one. Okay. So that is I talk about the good part of AI. Now I need to talk about the bad side as well, right? So you make the questions. So six example incident related to use of AI. I'm a subscriber to Wall Street Journal, one of my favorite newspapers. So Samsung data leak via ChatGPT. So we all use ChatGPT. Okay. So May 20, a couple of years back, Samsung employee accidentally leaked confidential information by using the ChatGPT to review internal code, that's a software code, and document. As a result, Samsung decided to ban the use of generative AI tools across the company to prevent further breaches. So what happened there? Right? So there was a back end. Somehow there was a hacker got into the ChatGPT session of this individual while he was doing whatever, and then got into their product code. Probably so if they were to if Samsung was to stop using ChatGPT, the loss of would have been pretty high, I'm sure. So you have to be careful. I'm going to next subject is cybersecurity. So this is the undeveloped scientific subject AI at the moment. Even it's hard for me to understand some of it, except the applications I can program it. But to get you the message, I was struggling myself honestly. To how much should I tell? So then the second one is this startup initiative AI chatbot offers car for $1. You might have seen this one, it was a big news. So a dealership AI chatbot, so they have a chatbot, was clicked into offering 76,000 Tahoe, that's the SUV, for just $1. And people thought that was a real thing. They drove over to this dealership and made the hell out of that. They threatened. I think they finally agreed to pay some to say you came from all the way from whatever. If you buy this, we will give you a discount. Okay? These are true stories. Air Canada refund. 2024, Air Canada customer reportedly manipulated the company's AI chatbot to obtain a refund larger than expected. Chatbots misinterpreted the request, leading to an overpayment. You're lucky. that happens. And then the Google Bard, that's another chatbot. February 23, shortly after launching the Bard AI, Google encountered credibility issue when the chatbot provided the incorrect information during a demonstration about the James Webb Space Telescope. The error was the immediate dive of the alphabet stock price to 100 billion. Okay, it's not the telescope, it's the news given by the Google. So what is the reason why Google died down? Because people lost the confidence on Google, right? So people thought, why should we use Google's chatbot? But because it's a competitive, there are like 3 to 4 different chatbots that I showed you before. Snapchat, likewise, Snapchat powered by that's the ChatGPT faced backlash when the user reported giving a concerning response, including potential harmful advice. So Amazon also they have a incident. So all these incidents, they are not just a few dollars. Okay, so for example, I'm trying to create a chatbot for Bhavana, just to use the spiritual way of treating. So we have to be very careful. We have to have the best chipset, the servers, and the right individual. It's not just one man job. So and then we have to get the right input from you all, from NST. So the product project, actually, my plan is if you wish to sign in to give us input, so I'll be communicating with the proper package to say, because it's that project is at the moment I'm working to see whether we can get the intellectual proprietary option, so that it will be Bhavana's IP is not mine. Yeah, so there are a lot of this stuff. The way that AI is I wouldn't say dangerous, but we have to be pretty careful how to use and where to use. Yeah. Okay. So the next subject, I hope it's not going to be boring because I have a lot of interactive. This one, I'm sure, is tough that way. And the whole reason I spent an hour on this because I need to build a relationship with you, and then this is for the benefit of the Buddhism, okay? And also to get your input. So I mean, this subject is a college subject. It's like a couple of semesters. You cannot do even introduction within 1 hour. Okay, so only way to get the message is by giving some example. I hope I did to best my capability, and then let's keep in touch and to get the benefit of AI to the spiritual treatment aspect of the application. Okay. So the next one that I have is cybersecurity. I did part of it last time, so I like to continue this time. I'm trying to see how much you can remember. So I'll be asking some questions. No, I'm just kidding. And do you want to take a quick break, 5-minute break, or are you okay to continue? Break or continue?
Break?
Yeah, you want to a quick break? Okay, good. Okay, 5-minute break then. Yeah, okay. Okay, then I'll get my computer ready. It's going to be show and tell, basically. You're going back to kindergarten. So I have some goodies to show. We are going to go through the evolution. And then we're going to bridge the AI to the cybersecurity. Okay, and I'll do a smooth transfer. Challenge number 1, number 2, number 3. එතකොට අපි දන්නවා සම්මන්සේ ඔක්කොම මේ අහු correct wrong තමයි misleading. Exactly. But you have to know the background. Like මේ disorder එකට මොකක්ද තියෙන symptom. එතකොට දැන් අපිට ඒ search කරනකොට කවුරු හරි වැරදි එකක් කියලා දානවා. මේ රිලේෂන් එක AI වල database එකේ ගොඩක් ඒගොල්ලෝ කරන්නේ search කරනවා. හැම database එකකම යනවා.
ගිහලා ඇදලා ඊට පස්සේ ඒක බලුවාම දැන් මම කරනකොට මේ සාමාන්‍ය gender information section message අපේ මාතෘ දිනන ෂෙයාර් කරාම ඒක ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑමින් නෑ ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම්ස් එක completely different අතට සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මේ කරන්න තියෙන්නේ තමයි මේක මේ තීරණ ගන්නවා නම් ඉෂුව එකක් නෙමෙයි. ගන්නවා කියන්නේ මේ මම කියන්නේ මොකක්ද තමයි හොයන සබ්ජෙක්ට් එක දැනගන්න ඕනේ. මොකක් හරි කරන්නේ. කිමුකෝ අපි යනවා කියලා කොළඹට යන්න යනවා කියලා. යනකොට අපි පාර දුන්නොත් හරි යන්න ඒ නයින් එක අරගෙන යන්න. හරිද? අපි දන්නේ ඒක හරි පාර. අපිට ඉතින් ඒ 23 අරගෙන මේ ඒලා මම කරලා දීලා ඊට පස්සේ බෝට් එක අරගෙන ගන්න. මේ බෝට් එකෙන් පාරකට මේ බෝට් එකෙන් යන්න කිව්වොත් ෂෝට් කට් එකකින් පුළුවන්. Because we didn't and we have not asked. We have to do the condition.
Question එක හරි කරා. දැන් උදාහරණ සම්බන්ධයෙන් GPT වල අමතරයක්. මම මේකෙන් එවුවා මේ බුදුදහම කියන කාරණයක් ලියලා සිංහලෙන් ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් දෙකෙන් මෙවුවා. අහලා මේක ගැන ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් හඳුන්වන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ මේ එලියම් සූත්‍ර වල යතුන් මේකෙන් කොහෙවද නැති. ඒවත් තිබුණේ නෑ. ඒක තමයි මාළින් දෙයින් කියනවා. මාළින් කියනවා. මාළින් සූත්‍රය. ඒ සූත්‍රයේ ලොකුනේ. ඒ එක්සැම්පල් ගත්තේ නැති ඒකයි. දැන් මෙතන මම එක්සැම්පල් දුන්නා නම් මම මොඩිය වෙනවා. ඒක කියන්නේ මේ සාලිකේට මම කිව්වේ ඒකයි මේක මානවෝනි කියන ගාන එකම අර තුකින් මේක නැතන්ට ආන්නේ මේක එක්සැම්පල්ස්. පෙර එක්සැම්පල් දෙන්න. ඉතින් අපි පෙර එක්සැම්පල්ස් හොයාගන්නේ ඒක ඉන්ටර්නෙට් වල ආවම ස්පීකර්ස් නිවුස් මීඩියා එකට. ඒක තමයි Wall Street. Wall Street and the Financial Times හරින් ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ ඒ නැත්නම් CNN ඒ වගේ තියෙනවා. මොකද ඒක ලයිබ්‍රරි එකක් තියෙනවා. බොරුදන් ඒක ලයිබ්‍රරි ඔව්. ඉතින් නැත්නම් DP එක කියලා තොක්කම නෑ. එනයි තීරි දින මොනවද කියන්නේ
මොකක්ද
ඒ නම්බර් තීරි දිනනවා
ඔව්
මේ බැංකුවේ මේක දාන්නේ එයා වගේ නේ ඇයි තීරි කියන්නේ මොකද බැරි වලින් ෆෝන් ලයින් එක
meditation practice කරන්නේ බොරුචුන් දිගන් මේ කැලේ සම්පෙන්න තමයි වීවල කරාගෙන මේ ඒස්ක පාරසලක් කරලා
Dice sekarang ini kayak gimana kalau dia